Hello, everyone, and welcome to the launch webinar of A Year with Carola. Hi, Carola.
Hi, Cliff.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Hello.
Please say hi in the chat, and thank you ever so much for joining us. We've had 750 people register for the webinar, so that's incredible. Yeah, we hope to make it of interest to you, and we hope that you will join us for this project. It's been just saying that it's taken so much work. We've been working on it really for about a year now, getting everything together. It's been quite a massive project. And so it's great to be doing the actual launch and have it all kind of ready to go. I can't help being a bit excited, really, to be honest, to get to this stage after all this work and everything. So let's put the slides up and we'll give you an idea of what we've got in store for you. So here we are. It's a partnership between Shiatsu Wales, that's Carola, and New Energy Work. And this is the program. We're going to basically talk about the course. We've got a poll to ask you where you're kind of from, what kind of background you're from. Carola's going to talk about why she made the videos, a 5-year project. And then we've got some video clips for you to give you a flavor of what's available. It's going to be available when we do the Year with Carola course. So we've got a spleen supine technique example. Then Carola's going to share some ideas about what she'd like to do in the webinars. And that's going to be kind of an interactive thing. Find out again about what your main interests are and the kind of things that Carola wants to present. And then we've got another example, which is a theory example of the liver meridian. And then I'll talk a little bit about the structure of the course, how we put it together, how we've combined all kinds of things that we can do on New Energy Work on the online platform with all the video material that Carola's brought into the whole thing. And then there's another video example. This is from the triple heater. And then I'll talk at the end about how to register if you want to join us and what the fees are and all that kind of thing. Okay, so here we go. Look at this. We're doing the sums. It's almost 40 years now that we've been working together. And look at us here. At Lam Rim when we were
trying to work out when it was, and we think it was maybe 1987, possibly
something like that. Yeah, we met earlier
we're at a Pauline Sasaki, and we're having a meeting of the Shiatsu College, and we're at a Pauline Sasaki workshop, and it's a really historic photo because the person who took it was Chris Jarmy.
There we go,
who was there as well. Yeah, the late Chris Jarmy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you might recognize Paul Lumberg there, the guy with the beard, and Elise Kubelbeck, as she was there then, and Elise Johnson in the photo as well. How about that? It's a historic thing. So we've been working together. The point of the photo is to just remind ourselves, Carol, of just how long it's been we've been working together. We worked together founding the Shiatsu College with Paul and Nicola and Elise. We worked for many, many years on the postgraduate course, which was a big, massive residential course that we ran in the UK. Many of you may have hopefully been on that. That was way back in the day. And then latterly, we've done some really fun things on New Energy Work. So yeah, we've been working together for a long time.
We've constantly been learning from each other, haven't we? We've learned as we've gone along from each other.
We have, exactly.
Including the famous yellow book.
Yeah, because I was just thinking back to those days 40 years ago and how much more we know now about the nature of the meridians, about all the modern science stuff and the fascia and the embryology. And I mean, it's just amazing. And somatic empathy and all that kind of thing. And look, here's my famous yellow book. And the history behind this is when I was apprenticed by Pauline Sasaki in 1986, I wrote down every technique that she taught, which was the entire curriculum that she put together for the Ahashi school, which is basically every possible technique for accessing the Masunaga meridians. And we used that. And
she'd got it, hadn't she, directly from Masunaga and the routines that he taught at the yokai.
Exactly. She was very important in the Ahashi school. She helped organize Masunaga's trips to America. She also went back to, like Carola says, Japan. She studied and was graduated by Masunaga. She went through his entire program and she kind of brought that over. And then she brought that over to us, really, via my apprenticeship and by all those workshops in Lam Rim. And that's how all of that material came over, I suppose. And then we use that
We have
help
to
us
we
develop.
have to we have to point out here that it wasn't just us.
It
wasn't
wasn't just
me
us,
and
no.
Cliff.
Paul
It was
and
everybody in the
Elise and
Shiatsu
Nicola
College.
helped form the curriculum. But the source was this book and Pauline's work. And then Carola likes a project. So she decided to do the epic thing that probably no one else would, in their right minds, would even attempt to do, which was to actually video every single one of those techniques and basically enable generations of shiatsu practitioners to see all the techniques of all the different positions, and which was a 5-year project, wasn't it, Carola? It took you to do that?
It took 5 years, 5 long, hard years to do, yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just the techniques that we used in the Shiatsu College. It was all the techniques I'd ever learned, really, from anybody.
Oh, really?
putting them in these videos, including quite a lot of Pauline's own techniques with the fingertips. Remember?
Oh yes, yes, absolutely.
Pauline's famous fingertips.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. So Carola, worked on that for 5 years. And so that's quite a big chunk of the 40 years, actually, looking back on it, when you think about it, and isn't it? Okay, so let me find out.
Ago.
Sorry?
It was a while ago as well. I mean, they went out first of all as DVDs, and then they went out streaming on Vimeo.
Yeah.
And now you're showing them again, which is great. Anyway, Paul.
Yes. Let's see. Well, let's find out what your main background is in shiatsu. So let's share that now. Is it TCM, 5 elements, Zen shiatsu, or other? Let's find out what the majority is. Wow, look at that. We've got a clear lead there for Zen shiatsu, hovering around 80%, 70, 80%. And then we've got 5 elements and TCM about the same, at about 8 or 9%. And then other 9%.
Are they, Cliff, are they allowed to choose more than one, or only one?
Just your main background. You can only choose one. Yeah. So obviously a lot of people have got more than one.
Because I think a lot of people will have been wondering, well, I've got quite a lot of 5 elements, and which is great, a good mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Carola, can you explain why you made these videos?
Because I'm mad.
Apart from that, I mean.
Yes. Well, because yes, we've talked about this before, haven't we? In the pre-publicity launch. But so I'll zoom through this. Meridians are, where we start, really. I mean, we start with Shiatsu touch, which of course is the basis. But then we begin to learn meridians, and that forms the basis of our Shiatsu practice for a long, long, long time. And they are the thing that will bring together nearly every style of Shiatsu, because there are many, many styles of Shiatsu, which is also a great thing. But meridians, they will nearly always have meridians. And even the Namikoshi style, which has points, but it's the way it's taught in Japan, will be to do maybe extend the arm and work 3 lines along the arm, and then do the other side of the arm and do 3 lines. You get your meridians even in the Namikoshi style, and it is the easiest place for the student to begin to feel ki. Because these meridians are, although there's ki everywhere in the body, and there isn't a single cell that isn't supplied with ki, the meridians are pathways where the ki is most likely to congregate. So they are the place where you can just begin to tune in to the pathways. And learn. If you learn where they go, then you can learn what areas you're affecting. When you tune into a tsubo on the leg, you can think, well, where am I affecting here? Am I affecting the stomach or the shoulders or the face or whatever? So really vital for Shiatsu practice. So next one. So then we come to maybe you remember the first time you saw the chart of the Masunaga meridians and you thought, oh God, terrible. There are so many of them, like spaghetti. And it is a little challenging sometimes. And people, I think, need some support in learning the Masanaga meridians, because, to be honest, the chart is done very Japanese style. The Japanese style of teaching meridians is very much, well, you can try a little bit here or a little bit there, or maybe it's a little bit further up, because it's very much about finding through palpation. And putting things on the chart tends to be very kind of slapdash. I remember Kiko Matsumoto, when we studied with her, and she was talking about a point on the forearm, and she was saying, oh, is this large intestine triple Y? Oh, it's larger, warmer point. So, you know, just doesn't matter, just find it. So that's the way the Japanese very often do learn meridians. So the charts, although they are in some ways detailed, they're also quite vague. You want to know where things are going.
Especially the angles, I think that's the thing, isn't it? Body positioning, the angles. That's the great thing about videos. You can, and also you can watch them over and over again. And you can just get that angle right. It's really important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I have to say that it is very much my own style of working in videos, and our style of working is also governed by our own personal anatomy, our body shape, isn't it? I mean, for example, sometimes I'm going down very low because actually that's just the way my ankles are. They're very weak ankles, so it means I can lean forward on them and go down very low. Some people won't be able to, but I do try and give alternative techniques for nearly everything. So, and I'm able to do that because the way we learned, wasn't it, Cliff? The way we learned was to go from teacher to teacher in the early days of shiatsu, and just do a weekend here and a weekend there with these different teachers, and they'd often be doing different techniques, and they'd often learned them in Japan anyway, or from Japanese teachers. And so these techniques, the vast diversity of the sources of shiatsu in Japan, coming from martial arts, coming from the samurai treatments, coming from barefoot shiatsu, coming from, macrobiotic shiatsu, anma, all of those. And they all found their way through to us gradually via these different teachers. But these days, the way we've got our education going it's fantastic, and you can get a shiatsu certificate to practice in 3 years, but you lose out because you're not actually getting the full range of what's possible in shiatsu, because it simply isn't time. You've got to learn the meridians, you've got to learn the theory, you've got to learn all that anatomy and physiology, and so it necessarily sometime has to be sacrificed, and also the 4 positions. So I feel that sitting position is very, very underused. Unless you've learned on-site massage, you're unlikely to know all the wonderful techniques you can do in the sitting position. So quite a lot of that. Okay, so that's the reason for making the videos. And I think now we've got one of the clips showing it's a very techniquey bit. So it's like being in class with me. I even shout at you at the end. Do you want to?
Okay, so we're going to leave the stage so we don't get any echoes and things like that. I'm just going to you leave the stage.
When you're supporting somebody's leg on your legs, this is absolutely what you shouldn't be doing, which is this. Even if they're at their point of maximum stretch, which they probably won't be, but then you are completely immobilized. You cannot really work into the meridian. Look, here, this is me trying to work into the meridian. This is very bad shiatsu technique. I'm having to use the muscles of my arm because I can't get my body weight high enough to drop it down. So the whole feeling is completely different. And as for coming down here, goodness knows what I'm meant to be doing, this probably. And yet, all these years of shiatsu teaching, I'm always seeing people supporting the leg like this, and it really is so immobilizing, it's not a good idea. So if you can imagine a big red cross. No, don't do this one. Okay.
I guess we'll have to wait and see the correct way to do it when on one of the other videos. But actually, that is also one of my bugbears, actually, not supporting it like that. And the answer is to make more of a wall, isn't it, with your upper leg, so that you can control it more and get right over. Okay, so that's just one little example, one of the many, many videos of which there are in, the, in each of the series of all the different things, just to give you an example. So here we go. That was just a little example. Okay, so what about the webinars? Because that's really an added thing, isn't it? People may have bought the videos in the past with DVDs or on Vimeo, but this is a completely different thing because we've got a whole year now to really create a community on the forum and via the live webinars. So what's your idea about that?
So well, I've been exploring meridians, as have you, for a very, very long time, and you know how it is, Cliff, that when you're doing shiatsu full time and teaching shiatsu as well, you just sort of think about the meaning of it all, and you think about the way the key of the universe sort of comes into the meridians, etc., etc. So my bias does tend to be on the philosophical side. And that's partly because of who I am. I'm quite a sort of interested in philosophy generally, but also it's a way of understanding the deeper nature of ki and how we and our meridians fit into the ki of the world and going out and out and out into the universe. And also going in and in and in. And that also fascinates me, the space inside the body and how you can go down to almost a quantum level, which connects you equally deeply. So, you know, this kind of thing is what really interests me. And what I would like to, you know, whenever I have thoughts like this, I would like to share them in the webinars wherever possible. So not also I'll be, you know, deepening understanding of the meridian functions. Like, you know, sometimes the TCM functions can be a little hard to understand, like, you know, the lungs governing the water passages. What does that mean? Things like that. So where I can, where I've understood it myself, I will be hoping to explore that as well. So then there's exploring connections between the classical theory, which basically is TCM, the Masunaga theory, and sometimes, you know, modern scientific knowledge where I know about it. So I'm interested in all of it. I have an enormous library, and I've forgotten how to.
This is where Carola shows us some of her favorite books.
That's brilliant. So I'm just going to show you some of my sources. So so this is Giovanni Maciocia for TCM.
Sure.
He's really, really good. He's really, really good for the practical stuff and the mechanics of meridians and ki. But it's very much supplemented. I've just chosen at random one of these books by Claude Lard and Elisabeth Rochard de la Vallée. They really go into the spiritual side of things.
I love that series. I've got that on my bookshelves up here.
They're brilliant, aren't they? They're so good.
We've got the whole wall of this.
I do really recommend. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, did I lose sound there? And then, but of course, TCM isn't the whole story at all by any means.
No.
And a lot of, you know, there's some considerable nationalism about shiatsu in Japan. You know, we invented shiatsu, not the Chinese. And yes, it's true that shiatsu is uniquely Japanese. But our main Japanese source is Masunaga, and here is his theory on one page. So this is
I
the
love that
famous
chart. That's
theory of
brilliant.
the amoeba. So, which you may be familiar with, or you may not. I don't know, but the amoeba is a way of understanding how even one cell can have meridians, because even a one-celled animal is going to have its own desires, motivations, fears, goodness knows what, even though we are much more complicated. And then furthermore, there's the other Japanese side of things, which is their long tradition of just palpating the body. You know, this is the roots of shiatsu, diagnosis through touch, which is pretty amazing. And I'm thinking of using this actually in the spleen webinar, because there's a whole system of diagnosing just by the navel. I mean, forget the hara, just go to the navel and look at the navel. So it's fascinating, actually, really interesting. So, and then there's the scientific side of it. And the science is, it's partly fascia, which is,
Naturally Trained. Yeah.
Wonderful book. Wonderful book. He's discovered his own meridians without any reference to shiatsu. And I know, and there's the embryology side of things as well. And I know that Dr. Daniel Kieran is a big favorite, the guy who wrote The Spark in the Machine. But my main source has been this book, which is wonderful. This guy is an osteopath, and he's really into embryology. I don't agree with a lot of his theories about acupuncture, but it doesn't alter the fact that he makes wonderful statements. Like, you can find out so much. Like, listen to this. The pericardium, the actual pericardium, the pericardium is a tough structure that anchors the heart to stop it writhing like a high-pressure garden hose in your chest. Isn't that great? You have to hold the heart down, because otherwise it would be just going like that with all the blood going. Isn't it fantastic?
That's a great image. I never thought of it like that, but it's absolutely right.
It's fabulous. Unfortunately, that book is out of print now, but you can still get at phenomenal expense. You can get used ones. And then finally, for the scientific thing, there is James Oshman, whom I quoted extensively in my book, because it does this brilliant thing of gathering together all little bits of little known science, little bits of studies from here, there, and everywhere to make a really convincing proof that energy medicine actually exists and works. So fantastic.
I agree with that.
And then finally, of course, there's my own experiences, which I write down. Sometimes I have little discovery when I'm doing Qigong, and then I'll write it down. And maybe some of them I'll share with you.
That's your own book.
In the webinars.
Brilliant.
Right, back to the slides.
Yeah. A couple of people have been helpfully putting links in the chat, but we'll make sure that we get some links to you of all of those sources. If we can't get them on this webinar, we'll definitely put it onto the course and onto the resources that we, obviously doing that. Okay, so more on the webinar.
Okay, and yes, in the videos, because there wasn't time, and B, I thought, actually the Zen Shiatsu meridians need more explaining than the points.
5 years is such a short time, Carola. 5 years is so short.
I mean the time in the videos. They're all about an hour, at least an hour long, sometimes an hour and a half.
Right, wow.
But points. So, points are actually fantastic. They're amazing. The way we have to learn them is like, learn the bones and learn the muscles, and it's so boring. Actually, when you actually find one and you explore it and you find the angle and you think about where the energy is going, they're amazing. They're fantastic. Yeah. So we'll be having in a minute, we'll have another video clip about which points is a vehicle for talking about points. And and extra insights into the material generally. And the forum is where I'm going to welcome your insights, because, you know, it's an opportunity to share your experiences and what happens, because it's one of the joys of actually being in a shiatsu course, isn't it? Is talking to each other about shiatsu.
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
sharing all that knowledge that we all pool together. So it's great.
Absolutely, I'm going to be there. Don't worry.
Are
I'm going to be
you?
the first in
Lovely.
line.
That'd be nice.
Brilliant.
Okay, can we?
All right.
Can we
Okay. So now a theory example. What you might find, because we go off the stage, we play the video, it's all very technical, and we come back onto the stage again. It takes a little while for everything to settle down again. If you do lose one of us or lose some sound, just refresh your browser or just come out and come back in again, and you will hopefully then reconnect, because it's a bit of a technical thing playing the video. So here we go. Just going to leave this, leave the stage, and then play the liver.
Now we come to the liver, the last in the cycle of the meridians. According to the ancient texts, and also to some extent according to our own Western understanding, the liver stores the nourishment that has been brought in and processed by all the other functions. It detoxifies it and releases it to the whole system where necessary. Now, in the way of things, any person who's in charge of storing and supplying needs to have a pretty good overview of the whole system in order to plan accordingly. And that's the nature of the liver. The liver is concerned with planning. The biologist Lewis Thomas wrote that he would be deeply depressed if he were informed that he was in direct communication with his liver and could take over its job. He said that he would never be able to make the liver's decisions and would prefer not to be obliged to, ever. Such is the liver's scope of action. It influences all the other body functions, moderating, balancing, making safe. The old Chinese texts make this clear when they speak of the liver as being the general, in charge of the strategy for the whole army. We normally think of the general as sitting on a horse, on a hill, surveying the action from a distance, rather than engaging directly like the gallbladder, who has to make moment-to-moment decisions, like the lieutenant in the field. And like the generals, the liver's plans have an important influence, because like all the other meridians, it influences the mind and the emotions in the same way as the body. It really does influence the way we move forward in our lives. We can see this in the meridian itself. Unlike the gallbladder, which is on the outer side of the legs, the liver is on the insides, literally about keeping things together while moving forward. Meanwhile, the gallbladder checks for options on either side.
There we are, just a very small clip from one of Carola's liver, from one of her videos on the theory. There we go, with quotes as well. That's a fantastic quote.
Isn't it great? It's such a good book.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, there's an introduction like that at the beginning of each video, and they get that's the last one, so it's very, very detailed. The lung one is sort of slightly less detailed, but explaining the classical meridian and the Masanaga meridian and where it goes, and the basis of the theory and what it means.
Brilliant. Okay, so we've got structure of the course. I think that's me, isn't it?
This is you.
It's me, yeah. Okay, so I just wanted to just share with you how we've put together. I don't know if you, Karen, if you get a chance, whether you can put in the chat, you can put the titles or the authors of some of the books that people have been asking about. Erica tells us that actually that Muscles and Meridian book is in print in the Netherlands. So if you speak Dutch, you're okay.
Oh, right, great.
Okay, so look, this is what we've been doing. We spent about a year putting this together. And what we've done is it's called in online course speak. It's called a bundle of 14 products. What that means is like 14 different things that make up that bundle that it creates a year with Carola. That's the online part. And basically what we've got is we've got the webinars, which will be recorded, and we'll record them, and every time we record them, they'll be stored on this particular course. We'll also put any extra resources that we create as we go along, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of those as we get to know you more, and things are created by the group. And then we're going to put quizzes on at the end of each month, which will then build together, and then we're obviously going to give you a certificate at the end to prove that you've completed the whole year. Okay. And another very important part is the community forum. That's another one of these 14 products, which is the actual forum. And that's a place where we'd like you to, if you join us, we'd like you to introduce yourself, say hi to everyone, maybe give us a bit of information about your background, so that we can form kind of like a community for a year, really get to know each other, and share where we've come from, where we'd like to go with all of our work. Okay, so that's two of the products are those courses, the community and the course with the webinar. And then there's 12 other courses, and that's been a monumental piece of work, because Carola has actually worked to get her entire DVD series, which was previously available on DVDs, and then it's been on Vimeo, streaming on Vimeo. She's got all of the 12 sets of Meridian videos complete in each of the 12 Meridian video courses. So that's what this bundle is, and that's what makes up the year with Carola. We've given it a notional hours, 25 hours CPD. It's probably going to be more than that, we've calculated, but that's a nice comfortable round figure that we can definitely credit with you at the end of the year. So that's how it works. There's two parts to it, really. There's the live part, which will happen every month. If you enroll, you'll get a link to a demo series, very much like this webinar, but it's a series of webinars. And then that's exclusive, obviously, to people who are part of this Year with Carola project. So that's how it kind of works. That's a picture of the course card that you'll see online. And this is just a kind of screenshot of the bundle. So you can see we put the community right at the top, and then there's the Year with Carola webinar recordings, resources, and quizzes. And then underneath it there wasn't enough room to show them all. But if you can imagine them all going down in order, all the way down to the 12th video series, then you'll get an idea of what's in the bundle. So that's the 14 components that make up the whole year, that kind of thing. So let's see what else we've got here. Okay, yeah. So basically, the format is, if you do join us and you enroll, as soon as you enroll, you'll get immediate access. We decided to publish it all, so as soon as you join, you'll get access to all the 12 Meridian video courses. So you can start having a look at all of them and find your way around. There'll be a link for you to join up for the webinar series, so then you'll get the reminders exactly like you got for this webinar, so you don't miss any. It's on the second Wednesday of every month. That's like this one. This is the second Wednesday of the month, and it's at the same time. So it's at 6 o'clock or 1900 hours European time. And then obviously there'll be a year where we can build up the community and all kind of commune together and work on answering questions, finding out what happens on the live component, and creating extra resources. So that is
Cliff,
how it works.
Colin has asked a question: how long will we have access to this? Will we need to renew our subscription each year?
That's a very good question. No, you won't. Okay, basically you'll have lifetime access to all of the videos forever, as if you'd bought the DVDs. So you'll have access, and you'll also have access to all of the webinar recordings. The only thing that we will stop after a year will be the forum, because Carola will need a rest by that after 365 days of answering your questions. Of course, if you're a New Energy Work member, you'll know that we've got a forum, members forum anyway. So if you've got any other questions, we can...
There's quite a lot of questions in the chat if you want to answer them.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So of course, yeah, you can watch a lot. You can watch the replay. I can answer these questions as they come up, right? Because you've got lifetime access. That's the first thing. You can watch the replay. Yeah. What will happen is you'll get a replay link from Demio, like you do when you go to a webinar, which takes you onto the webinar platform, and you can see a recording there. But as soon as the video is processed, we will take that and we'll put that into the course that I mentioned back here, which is this. You see this one where it says a year with Carola webinar recording. So we take the recording, put it there, so you don't have to worry about links and so on. You can just go on the course and find it, and then you can replay it within the course. Okay, so that's, I hope that's nice and clear. And yeah, there's 12 monthly live webinars, and they're themed around each of the meridians in order around the cycle. So the first one will be themed on the lung, and Carola will be presenting them, and I'll be here, and other members of the team will be here, like hanging out with her, learning from her. So there's, yes, there's 12, and I think I've got a slide. Excuse me, a slide. Have I got a slide? I think later on I've got a slide with. I'm just wondering if I've got a slide later on. I've got a slide later on. Sorry, yeah, I'm trying to have a look. I've got a slide later on with all the dates on it, but basically it's the second Wednesday of every month for a whole year. Okay, so that's they're once a month. Each live webinar is 1 hour. Okay, just like this one, unless we finish early. Yes. Okay, that's it. So,
and in holidays, Erica,
yeah, there are webinars all the way through the entire year for 12 months. So if you're on holiday, don't worry about it. Just watch the recording and hang out with us
I think
on the forum.
it means
okay?
also like, you know, round about Christmas and Easter and things. Yes, we'll still be doing them.
Oh yeah, yeah. We tried to keep it away from Christmas. That's why we went for the second Wednesday. So actually, the second Wednesday in December is quite a long way from Christmas. And then by the new year, once you've got over New Year, you'll want to join us on the second one. Yeah.
And yes,
so
they are recorded.
Yeah, they're all recorded just like this one. So as I say, you'll get a link to the recording on the webinar platform if you can't wait for us to process the video and load it on. But as they build up through the year, you can go back very conveniently and think, oh, I'd like to watch some of that. And so you can go back. And also we'll be loading up the slides for you and extra resources, so you can skip through the slides and get the content that way. Right, what's the cost? We're going to come to that in a minute, yes. Yep, you can study shiatsu all the year round. Yeah, okay. We'll come to the pricing in a little bit later, and how to actually enroll. We'll do that in a minute. That's in the program. And we've got 20 minutes left.
I don't think we've got time for that other clip, do we?
Yes, we have. We've got 20 minutes. We're fine. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So look, we've done the format of the webinars. So we've got, let's watch the triple heater clip. Yeah, let's watch it. We've got time, because then I can just go on and do the pricing.
This is an example of going to bits of the meridians that actually you might never have done because you're not quite clear where they are. Of course, I had to work out where they are in order to do this.
It's always a learning thing. Teaching is always a learning thing, isn't it?
It was, yes.
Okay, let's go. I'm going to just come off the stage and play.
Focusing more on the meridians. So every time you focus, remember also to keep an idea of the whole of the body in your awareness. Coming around to the top of the ear. Take a moment now to notice where you're going to go, because there's a line that goes, a curve that comes up from here and ends at the end of the eyebrow. And you're going to be following that curve as far as the hairline. So, thumbing. And in fact, there's a nice groove I can follow. And when I finish at the hairline, I should be right at the place where the flat surface of the temple gives way to the different plane of the forehead. So, there. And then we can bring the head out of the stretch or keep it in the stretch, it doesn't matter. This can be part of a face routine, or it can still be part of that previous treatment. So with a scissor movement, fingers behind the ear, fingers in front of the ear, coming down. And then you can keep your forefinger there, just below the ear, and your thumb is free to continue that last little bit of the meridian, coming towards the end of the eyebrow. And of course you'll do the other side, and you can combine this with a face routine or do it separately.
There we go. Yeah, I have a bit of revision there for me as well, I must say. There we go.
It was so funny. I had a cold for the whole of the triple heater video.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I don't know if you could hear. There's me sounding very nasal.
No, I couldn't. You did very well masking that. I didn't know. Okay, so just get a little bit more information. But if you do join us and you had to choose one of the advanced topics that we'll be covering in the webinars, we're going to cover all of them, of course. But what is your kind of flavor? What would you most like if you did join us? So let's run that second poll. Here we go. Let's just see, Carola, what the...
I hope it's not science. It's not.
We'd have to get Cindy Engel right in with if it is.
Yeah.
Okay, look, that's interesting. You see, shiatsu people are practical people. They've got like between 50 and 60 people are going straight for the advanced techniques, about a quarter for East Asian medical philosophy, and the minority is the modern scientific parallel. So you're okay, Carol, you're safe.
Yes. But actually, I mean, the advanced techniques won't be happening so much in the webinars because it's going to be mainly, talking heads, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you'll get a lot of techniques. All the video content. A lot of techniques in the videos.
Yeah, absolutely, tons. Yeah, but we'll obviously answer questions and things like that. Okay, now the moment you've all been waiting for. Here we are, big drum roll. How to enroll. Okay, this is Piers was asking how much is it going to be and everything. It's true. Okay, so this is, we did our sums and we did it for the best price we could. I hope you're going to really like the price and how to enroll. I want to explain how you can enroll. But if you have any questions, we can do it. So anyway, okay, so what we've done is we've opened up the registration and we've put an early bird in at $299 for the whole year. That's for everything. That's lifetime video access, lifetime access to all the webinar recordings and everything. And then we'll put it up to $399 once we've gone through the early bird period. If it's too much for you in one hit and you want to pay monthly, that works out 25 euros a month. And then if you've bought the DVDs or the videos, we don't want you to pay twice for them. So Carola's very clear on that. She wanted to make sure that people didn't have to pay twice. So what we're going to do, and because it's kind of complicated, because some people bought one video, they bought one of this, one of that. The only way we can do it is you have to email us, but there's no panic, just email us, tell us what you bought and how much you paid, and then we will create a coupon code for you that will take off anything you've spent on the videos before, straight off the price of the early bird price. Okay, so we thought that was the fairest way to do it. So that's the registration, that's the fees, and that's how we're going to help you if you've already bought the videos. Okay, so here are the dates. I knew there was a date slide. I should have maybe put that a bit earlier. Then we see these are the dates all the way through. It's the second Wednesday of every month all the way through. And this is how it works. We've got a landing page. It's called a landing page where you can find out more about what's included, and you can also then click through and purchase. And just to make it as easy as possible, there's the link in the follow-up email to this webinar. I can share it with you in a minute. It's actually on the homepage of New Energy Work as well at the moment. And if you've got any problems, obviously just email us and we'll help you. This is what the landing page looks like. It looks like that when you enroll. just be aware that if you want to pay by the month, you can just pull down that little arrow there, and I'll show you what it looks like. See that little arrow there? You pull that down, and that gives you the option to pay 12 monthly payments. Okay. Can I show the dates again? Yeah, I can do, but you can work them out for yourself, really, because they're the second Wednesday of every month. So you can just go through the calendar and work them out. There we go. Yeah, that's it. Okay, and yeah, 25.
How long is it going to remain online? Well, you get lifetime access, don't you?
Yeah, it'll be online for as long as we're here, and that's in the terms and conditions. So if in the far future we have to shut down or whatever, we'll make sure that we give you all the content in a package. You know what I mean? So that's one of our terms and conditions. So it's lifetime access. If we have to close down in 10 years, 20 years time, we have got succession in place though. So even when I'm gone, New Energy Work will continue. But we will make sure you get all of the content if that ever happens. So it's basically lifetime access. Okay, so that's like that. I think that's okay.
Does premium membership include this? No.
No, it doesn't. No, this is a separate thing altogether from the New Energy Work. So New Energy Work memberships, I'm afraid. Yeah, so it's an extra thing. Okay, so here it is.
Yes, the sessions are recorded, Lisa.
Okay, the early bird expires once we've reached our target number. So we've got a target number in our private heads that we're aiming for. So hopefully if you enroll, we want to make sure we get to that, and we can close it down in a couple of weeks anyway. So if you can book early as you can, make sure you get the early bird, will be really useful, because we've got a minimum number that we have to reach. So basically there, you can enroll now at newenergywork.com. If you go there now, and in fact, I can share the link with you here, which takes you straight into the, I think I've got it here, haven't I? Let's have a look. Featured action. Yeah, here we go. This is an actual direct link that goes straight to the enrollment page. If you click on that and maybe into another tab or something, you'll find the landing page and everything. So yeah, so that's what we did. We tried to get the price as reasonable as we could, and we did our sums and just try and get as many people that we can onto the whole thing. Just one word of just about teaching. If you're a teacher and you think, oh, I'd like to use the videos in class and stuff like that, this doesn't include a teacher's license, but we've thought of that. So we're actually going to run a teacher's webinar in a couple of weeks. So watch out for that. And we're thinking of creating a teacher's license so that teachers can actually use the use of videos in their teaching school, in the school. So look out for that if you're a teacher. Okay, it's for personal use. There we are. Will you be offering this program again next year or any time in the future, Carola? Please, we've only just got this one together. I don't know. We haven't got any plans at the moment. No, we haven't got any plans for doing it anytime apart from this year, but we'll have to see. We're all reaching retirement, so make the most of the fact that we're still here. Okay, so this Q&A. So if there's any other Q&As, let's have a look. Have we covered everything? I wonder if we've... Yeah, are there any other questions that we can answer? The length of each webinar is 1 hour. Okay, just like we normally do with New Energy Work. It's a good amount of time, not too long. So yeah, they're 1 hour long live, the live ones, and the recordings will be on land. The recordings will be stored, as I mentioned, on that particular course where all the webinar recordings are. Post early bird, it goes up by €100. Okay, so I think I made that clear, didn't I? Let's have a look. Yeah, so after the early bird, it goes up €100. What will be the content of the live webinars? Well, we just went over that, Mariana. It's basically questions. You can create your own questions on the forum. Carola will go into more detail, in depth about the theory, some of the science. We'll all be there. The community will be there creating them. So it'll be really
I'll be basically doing an advanced course on each meridian, or at least an advanced hour.
Right, exactly.
Talking about, yes, I mean, for example, just a topic at random would be thinking about the lung meridian and time, for example.
And time.
Things like that. Time. Right. Relationship of the lung with time.
Right, exactly. So going out more into the spiritual aspects and then more into the advanced things. And this actually, if anyone who's actually read Carola's book will know, she's got an amazing way of explaining and going into depth, into a lot of depth with that. I'm just going to turn this. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Right. Okay. We got some more questions. Right. Could you explain more how the forum works? Yeah, what happens is when you enroll, you'll get a link to the community, and should be already clear. You go on, and it's just like a forum where you can make introductions. There's an introduction section. You can introduce yourself, and then there'll be sections that we'll make for each of the webinars and things like that. So it's a kind of dynamic space that you can take part in. Other quizzes based on the live forum or on the videos. They'll be based on a bit of both. But don't forget that you'll be able to look at the recordings, and you'll also be able to look at the slides. The quizzes are not going to be hard. They're only just there to be able for us to say that you've definitely looked at the material. That's what it's for. So we can give you a credit for the lung and time works very well too. Yeah, very good, Sarah. Yeah, yeah, good. I like that. See, that's the sort of thing we're probably going to have to put up with on the forum. I could see this happening, those sort of jokes. Oh dear. Yeah. Okay. So are there any other questions? Okay, great. So yeah, we'll hopefully see you enrolling. If you have any problems, it should be fairly straightforward, just going using the enrollment link, or look at the email that comes after this once the video is processed, or you can just go to newenergywork.com. It's right on the, she's already signed up. It appears she's already signed up. Cool. So you've got,
well done,
Piers, you've got, that's
great.
Quick.
We haven't even finished
the webinar yet. Yeah, you'll have access to all of the videos. In fact, you can be the first person to put the introductions on the forum, and you'll beat us to it. we haven't done ours yet. We're going to do it after the webinar. The early bird pricing ends in 2 weeks, or if we reach our minimum number of people that we're keeping secret at the moment, but we've got a minimum number we have to reach. Once we've reached that, then we'll take the early bird off.
I would like to answer Michelle.
Oh, look, here we are. Look, Carola, this is a question that you thought of already from Zoe, which is, would it be beneficial to watch the Meridian videos before the live webinar?
Yes.
Yes, exactly. And that's why we decided to publish them.
But it's not essential, but you'll get more out of it. Yes, yeah, exactly, and Michelle has asked, is the course best suited for complete beginners or experienced practitioners? Or I think complete beginners, possibly not. I mean, if you've never done any shiatsu, you might be slightly at sea. But if you are beginning a shiatsu course, then be great. Be very helpful, I should think. And I'm hoping that experienced practitioners can learn something as well. So that's my hope. Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure that will be the case. I'm absolutely the case. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay. So any other questions? I feel I need the revision. Yeah, watching those videos, I was thinking exactly the same thing. I was thinking, do I really know where the triple heat and meridian is on the side of the head? But I'm also looking forward to the webinars, because I know that they're going to be, I know from Carola's work in the past that they're bound to be really thought-provoking and very sort of deep content. So that's really good. Okay. Right, wait a minute. What happens if the early bird expires before the admin replies to my email regarding my DVD purchase? We covered that because I actually said that on the slides. I probably went past too quickly, but I actually said on the slides that don't panic. We will take even if the early bird expires, we will honor the early bird for those of you who've already bought the DVDs and the videos. Okay. So don't worry about that, because that's only fair. It's going to take us a while, especially as I'm actually leaving for Kiental in half an hour. So I'm going to be answering the emails on the train. It might take us a day or two to get back to you. And it might take you a day or two to find your proof of purchase, just find out how much it is. So don't worry about that. We will honor the early bird price for any previous purchasers of the videos. There we are, because we wanted that to be really, really fair. Kiental is the European Shiatsu Congress, which is in Switzerland, and we're all of the New Energy Work team are going there. If you've missed some of our summer webinars, which we did in conjunction with them. Okay. Yes, I know. It was one of those things.
Human dynamo, definitely.
No, I've got everything ready. I'm ready to go.
Away.
I'm not going to Switzerland this evening. I'm going to London to stay overnight, and then I'm going to get the train from King's Cross at 9:30. So it's all very chilled, very relaxed, and I've had a nice relaxing day, and I've really enjoyed having an hour with Carol. I'm sure you have too. It's really, yeah, good liver energy. That's right. Yeah. Thank you, Carol. I trained in acupuncture.
It's always fun.
Just finding my way back into healing practice.
I'm getting worried about you going.
Yeah, I've got 4 minutes before I need to just get on my bike. I've got to cycle down to the station. Okay, is everyone happy? Are there any more questions? I want to make sure. If there are, then you can always just email us. No sweat at all. Don't worry. Just if you do want to join us, just get that early bird, make the commitment, and you'll join us, and we'll see you on the forum. It's going to be a lot of fun. Really looking forward to it. We put a lot of work into making this, and I'm so happy that it's really happening now. It's been so long. We've been planning it and putting it together and everything, and it's going to be. I just can't believe we're going to have a whole year with you, Carola. What a treat! I'm really looking forward to it. You know,
and I'm looking forward to meeting all of you guys as well. Thank you very much for joining us. That was really nice. Yeah. Thanks for all the interesting questions.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, good. I'm going to put
I'm getting worried about you.
Chat to everyone.
Gotta go.
Yeah, I think that's it. 3 minutes to go, but I think we can definitely finish up. Gives me another 3 minutes to get to the train to take me to Kiental. Okay, brilliant. Look forward to seeing you on the community forum of a year with Carola. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.